As we are ending this retreat, I just wanted to share some simple things because I know that for some of us, them back and saying, now it's over, now the problem starts. We come back to our personal lives and already visualizing how to deal with the seeming problems which will be in front of us. But remember that if there is sense that something is a problem, we have already invented the person identity again. Because there is no problem which is not personal. All problems are personal. So there is a sense that some of you are getting now that we are getting away from this retreat and back to the problems of our daily life. Don't let the mind convince you with this simple trick. At least let it come up with some new ones. Now that you've seen through all of these tricks, let's at least challenge our mind to come up with something new. So when it is repeating and playing the same problems from the past, can we just from our heart say, is that all you have? The same old stuff? Let's use whatever the trickster is throwing at us to deepen our inquiry. The same way as you've learned today, as you learned through the retreat, that whatever seems to still get our belief, can we inquire into the identity which it is speaking to. The relationship identity, the spiritual seeker identity, the work identity, and the body identity. In the simple pointing, don't believe your next thought. And when we look at this, we must start with the perspective that in this moment I don't find any bondage. Because if don't believe the next thought becomes a personal strategy to get to freedom, it does not work. It becomes a personal strategy. The person using the idea not to believe the next thought to get to some sort of freedom, even this does not work. First, we must start with the perspective that in this moment, I cannot find the ego. In this moment, I cannot find bondage. The appearances might be here, some feeling might be here, some thought might be here, but the sense of the separate me is never here. So the point of the pointing is not to get you to some point of freedom. It is to remain as you are, not deluding yourself in imagined identities. In this moment, you are free. In this moment, you are already all that you will ever be. You are complete. As I have been saying, the ego only has one tool, one weapon to convince you, and that is thoughts. But it cannot win because you have the power to see what you are right now, in every instant. The power of belief also belongs to you as consciousness. Therefore, truth cannot lose to just an idea of separation. And in knowing this, we can relax a little bit about this so-called spiritual seeking. Because for many of you, the identity is only surviving as a seeker now. The false is only surviving as a seeker for many of you. And you can see for yourself that no other identity has any juice left, only this one. So when the sense comes that I must get to freedom, the thought comes, I must find some freedom, find out which I is being spoken about, which I is bound. You have not left the destination. Always you have been free. Only imagining some prison which does not exist. So suffering will be a laughable concept for you with just this simple understanding. Then the question might come, so how do I know what I am? I want to rest in the knowledge of what I am. And for this also I've given you a simple pointing, which is, can you stop being now? Don't go searching for being. See if you can stop being. Because to search for being would imply that you are not being right now. See if even for an instant you can not be right now. You will see, I am here. I am present as presence itself. And this much is enough to see that I am this space in which all experiencing and all arising and dissolving phenomenal is happening. This cannot leave you. Whether you are in the retreat, whether you are in the so-called practical world, you cannot stop being. And then some of you will have this intuitive sense that there is something that is aware even of this being. There is an I that is aware even of being. How do I become clear about this awareness that it seems like I am ultimately? And for that, just ask yourself, am I aware now? And in this simple pointing, you come face to face with the only truly non-phenomenal experience. Awareness being aware of itself. is not tasted as a phenomenal experience. It has no quality, no attributes, and yet you know it is clear that I am aware. Only awareness knows itself. And this is the awareness that remains through all the states, through the creation and dissolution of this universe. Don't let your mind undervalue these questions, these pointings, just because they seem so simple. So, how do I not fall victim to Rajan's voice? Just by not believing the next thought. I'm very grateful to all of you. Some of you have really not come here in easy circumstances. You had many challenges that came, many things which were stopping you, and yet in your heart you were clear about wanting to be here. And I feel that your devotion, your urge to be here has been amply rewarded, amply satisfied by Arunachala and Bhagwan's grace. And my blessing is that not just you in this phenomenal world, but all that come into your presence may also benefit from this light that you are now carrying.